Good morning, it's Masterclass day today. Hi, my name is 𝐬𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐴, and today we're doing something completely different. It's all about voice, public speaking, and communication skills. Now, if you are ready to ramp up your public speaking skills this year, then this is the place to be today. We're going to be holding a masterclass today. And this is very different from my normal, what I do every single Friday. I'm going to show you on the screen what we're doing. It's called Speak with Confidence, Clarity, and Conviction, the 5 Secrets to a Great Speaking Voice. Now, we're going to jump right in a second. But first of all, I want to know if you can see me, if you can hear me, and where you're calling in from today. So if you are here live or you're catching this on the replay, that's fine. Just pop it in the chat because we can actually see all of the chat roll for over the last 24 hours once this goes live and then you're watching the replay. So if you're ready to speak with confidence, clarity, and conviction, then stick around. We're going to be here together for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half if we go a little bit longer. If people have got questions, we'll go a little bit longer. But if you have to pop off, no problem whatsoever. You can always catch the replay. Now, remember, if you are really serious about public speaking, if you are really serious about becoming a better speaker, a better voice user, and a better communicator, then this training is absolutely for you. If it's time for you to actually step up, step out of your comfort zone and start speaking up for yourself in life, then you better start paying attention. I'm the coach for you. So let's dive into the content today. So now, the very first thing I want to share with you, let me see if I can find the layout that's right for me. Yes, this is basically what we're going to cover today. Now, I'm going to be changing view a lot of the time just to make sure that I'm focusing on you and your questions as well. I'll keep hopping over to the chat and saying hello. But here in a nutshell is what we're going to cover. Basically 3 things, very important things. The building blocks to a great speaking voice. Now, people think that, just jumping into a masterclass or watching a video is going to build a great speaking voice. But look, you have to know and understand the foundation first. To make any change, we've got to understand that intellectually we have to understand what it is that we need to change and what we're looking for. But then we've actually got to do the work. So this is not about reading a book or watching a video and expecting, bingo, magically, our fairy godmother to wave our magic wand and make sure everything is perfect for us. No, this is a learning curve. It takes a little time. So we're going to learn the basic building blocks for a great speaking voice today. Then the VIP secrets to building confidence and eliminating fear. This is a big one for most people. And number 3 is how to become a great speaker and presenter using a 5-step system. Now, this is the overview of all of the syllabuses that I use from both my group classes, the Voice of Confidence, and my Voice Club monthly membership, and also in my VIP classes. You will get the same training here with me, regardless whether it's in group or whether it's a one-on-one. Now, before we go any further, let me just go over to the comments and say hello. Hey, good morning. It's nice to see you, Elle. Hi, nice to see you here. Yep. Okay, Elle, you're coming through perfectly. Thank you so much for letting me know. Alrighty, I'm doing this a little bit differently because a lot of the time I do this on Zoom, but some people are very shy about coming into a Zoom room. They keep their cameras off and they like to hide. But here's the thing. If you do that, you're never going to move forward in your life. If you keep hiding from the world, and hiding can be lots of different things. Hiding can be this, so interesting. I'm going to speak like this and sort of back off from people and then use my body language to protect myself and my voice to actually keep really quiet. There's lots of different ways that we can hide. And I cover all of this in my classes because I realized this years ago, as I've been coaching for about 20 years now, when I saw people on stage, they literally take a few steps backwards towards the back of the room when they're a little bit nervous. They didn't even know that they were doing it. Their body would just sort of back off to try to get hiding behind the curtain. And our voice does the same thing. Our body language can be very closed. Our voice can be very closed and very back placed in the throat. And all of that is hiding. So if you are here today, good on you. Give yourself a pat on the back. because a lot of people don't show up for their own success because they're so scared. They're scared of being seen and they're scared of being heard. So let's see if we can move forward today. And these are the things that we're going to cover. Now, you are in absolutely the right place if you're nervous about public speaking. And that's why you do sometimes have your camera off. You don't like the sound of your voice. Maybe you avoid it because of these things. You hate being put on the spot and asked questions. Maybe you freeze up during that time. You avoid being seen and heard. Now think about how you're doing that in life. What are you avoiding because it's too hard for you? If you have difficulty speaking up for yourself at work or at home, if you're shy or introverted, or you've got passed over for promotion again. A lot of my students come to me because they've missed out on promotion more than 3 times, and they start to wonder, what are they doing wrong? To give you an example, I had a cold call from a gentleman yesterday who was trying to sell me promotion, some sort of promotional package for social media. He wanted to push his services onto me. Now, that's fine. You know, I don't mind. People have to do cold calls. That's how they find business. Good on them. Good on him for being brave enough to pick up the phone and actually call me and call a nice person, because I'm not going to be rude to these people. But here is how he spoke to me, you know, and I just want to, you know, and I thought, you know, you can't be a salesperson if you're stuttering and stammering all over the place because you're nervous. That's why I'm doing this class today. So you're absolutely in the right place if you know that you turn up like that as well. So out of all the people that have registered mostly for my masterclasses, sometimes hundreds of people register, believe me, in Zoom. They'll put their name down, they'll make a commitment to show up, and then they couldn't be bothered. They don't show up for their own success. They don't show up to actually do the work. They don't show up for their own growth and learning, which is very, very sad. So congratulations if you are here. That means that you are committed. You are committed to change, which I am too. So let me know in the chat, what is holding you back so far? There's always something, right? Maybe your story is, I hate public speaking. I avoid it. Or I avoid being seen and heard because I'm shy. Or maybe I don't know what to say, so I keep my mouth shut. I don't think I have anything of value to add. So again, I keep my mouth shut. I hate hearing myself back on video or audio. Or what is another excuse for you? Write in the chat. This is a safe space. This video will be taken down within the next 48 hours. So you better be quick if you want to watch the replay. And because this is a private class, it's going to be replayed only for my students in the future. So make sure that you put in the chat anything that you want to share with me today. Now, let's move on anyway. I will keep an eye on the chat and I'll make sure that I'm coming back to those comments. And any questions, by the way, will be held to the end. Now, this is something that I want you to be able to screenshot or at least write down. It's always a great idea when you're in a masterclass to have some water with you and at least a pen and paper or a device to write on. Our communication skills and confidence are directly related to our fulfillment and our success in life. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Our communication skills and confidence are directly related to our fulfillment and our success in life. Have a think about a conversation that you had with somebody where you walked away and you were absolutely disgusted with yourself. Just got a spot on my glasses. I'm going to get it off so I can see clearly. For example, if you've had a difficult conversation which ended in argument or attack and defend and yelling at each other and something awful, whether it's at work or whether it's at home, think about how terrible you felt when you actually finished that conversation and went away very unfulfilled. A conversation like that can make or break your career. It can get you fired or hired, and it can also get you promoted or demoted. Communication skills are absolutely key to your success and happiness in life. They really are. So let's move on. This is actually what's possible after doing some work. If you apply all the principles that I'm teaching you today, once you implement them into your life, this is what's possible for you. I've seen it time and time again, and I'll show you that later on. A strong, confident, and calm speaking voice for life. A voice that is pleasant to listen to, not annoying or abrasive. Confident speaking skills for any platform or any occasion. Polished presentation skills to help you advance your career, especially if you're a corporate executive. A promotion into a leadership position. I see this time and time again with my students. Once they start to speak up with confidence, clarity, and conviction, their whole life starts to change. It's incredible. And lastly, if you want to be one of my VIP clients, for example, your goal might be keynote speaking or TED Talks, podcast, YouTube, growing your own business. So have a think about, how far do I want to go? What do I want for my life? Maybe you're just starting out and you're in your 20s or early 30s and you just want to learn some really good, confident communication skills. That's it, just to feel better about yourself, to feel more like an adult, to feel more like a professional. But if you want to go a bit further, then there's more work that you have to do, of course, to get that mastery level. Very different. It's exactly the same as if you wanted to be a professional bodybuilder and you really wanted to get into competitions and be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever, then you'd have to train for a very long time to get to that level, of course. But if you just want to get fit, tone up, lose some weight, then you go to some classes and you don't have to work as hard because your goals are very different, you see? Let's just jump over and see if there's any questions being held. All of the above. Fantastic. Hi, Simone, and hi, Katie. It's lovely to see you here today. If you've got any questions about any of this, please just chime in and pop it in the chat. We're keeping it lean and green today and making sure that it's non-political and non-religious. That's all I ask in my comments and questions, and that we be polite to each other. Thank you. Now, anyone who is here today and that has watched the entire masterclass and really wants their free gift, this little gift is an audiobook, an ebook plus a worksheet. Now, this is a very powerful combination. Let me tell you why. For example, this is one of my clients, Antoine, and I started with him before he became a speaker, before he became a business owner in the way he is now. He wanted to speak on big stages, but he had to start from scratch like most of us do. So he got a copy of my little book, The 7 Deadly Sins of Public Speaking and How to Avoid Them, and he used these tips to build his first speech and went on to become a Toastmasters champion. Now, that was just the beginning for Antoine. The VIP clients that I work with, they get a lot of financial remuneration for their efforts. They earn up to 10, 20, 30, I know even $50,000 an hour speakers. That's a big remuneration for the input, the investment that you give into public speaking, coaching and training. Well, Antoine then catapulted into the next level of speaking, into keynote speaking and presenting all over the world, and does earn that $10,000 fee per hour. And that's just the beginning. And this is why it's so important for VIPs to get the training that they want. They need to invest in private training, because a little dip in the ocean, $25,000 for a year's training for executives and professionals at the highest level is nothing, because they can get 10, 20, 30, $50,000 back from a day's work. It's really worth the effort for them. But for most people, it's out of reach. So I'm going to show you something else at the end today that might interest you if you want extra training. So these are some of my typical VIP clients, for example. So you might be in this bucket or you might be somewhere else. These are actual clients of mine, by the way. Tony Robbins coaches, Brendan Burchard coaches, Aaron Sansoni coaches. I've got LA actress there, Jamie at the top. I've got auctioneers. I've got the top Arbonne salesperson in the world. She's a beautiful lady. I've got Apple and Google, all sorts of people. So you can see TV presenters, Olympic medalists, coaches, and people like you. So you're in the right place. If you don't want VIP as well, that's fine. We'll go into other ways that we can work together. Now, your voice is actually your best asset. Many people think it's our skills or our experience or our technical prowess, our technical knowledge at work. But here's the thing. If you've gotten all this experience in life, and you've got extreme technical knowledge, you might get that promotion to C-suite executive and your communication skills are not caught up to that. You might still sound underconfident You might still sound lacking in confidence and insecure. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your business brand and your business message and acumen marries or matches your actual communication skills. I call that congruence. So that's what we're talking about today. The way you speak and present yourself is actually so much more important than your content. Now we'll go further into that further down the lines, but just so you understand, the sound of your voice speaks louder than words. Leaders in business need to sound confident. Confident speakers do have greater earning potential, and communication skills and confidence will absolutely impact your whole life. Now, I don't know if you've had experience in that, but I certainly have, and I see it every day. Now, some of these people, if you like one of these people, we're going to use some of these as vocal mentor today, because we've got two very powerful exercises that we're going to go through. And some of these people are my clients' mentors, vocal mentors. You can see that there's Tony Robbins, Oprah, Mel Robbins, Lisa Nichols, Zig Ziglar here. We've got Jay Shetty, Gary V. We've got the great Margaret Thatcher, who had voice training for years to make sure that she could speak like that, and a wonderful motivational speaker called Nick. Now, if you like any of those people, that's awesome. Now, all of those people have been using their voice, their communication skills in a specific way. And this is how I teach it in this 5-step system. We have to really master our psychology and our mindset first, because our mindset affects our voice, which I'm going to tell you about in part 3. Voice skills then is the next step, because you have to learn certain basic foundational voice skills, how to project your voice, how to get the forward resonance, how to articulate properly, shape your vowels. There's a lot of foundation that you need to learn first. And then we go into the advanced levels of speaking, where to leave a powerful pause, how to ask a really great question to open up a great presentation. There's all sorts of things around voice. Then body language. We need to really master our non-verbal skills, eye contact, posture, stance, gesturing, facial expressions. All of that is non-verbal. And then we go on to the polish and the present like a pro, which most of my VIPs really need to go through. So that's more detail, which I'll go into later. But I want you to pop into the chat now. Would you like to speak on stages like this, or virtual like we're doing today, or perhaps podcast or camera? Where do you want to actually spend your time? Do you think you want to speak on a big stage? The biggest stage I've ever spoken on it was 20,000 people on the Gold Coast in a massive, massive event. The next smallest was 10,000. And then across America, I did usually between 2,000 and 5,000, 2.5 and 5,000 people in an audience as a singer, MC, and an actor doing shows by myself, cabaret shows, one-woman shows. It takes a little bit of time to build up to that big event, but you can start with small events. So you don't have to think, oh, I could never stand on a stage. When I'm asking you to dream, I want you to dream as though you had nothing holding you back. Not your mind, not your body, not your time, nothing holding you back. That's the way I want you to dream. So let's move on. How are we going to do this? We're going to do it with all these different applications today. You can choose whatever you like. So pop it in the chat once you've actually got an idea. Okay, great. Let me see what Elle's saying. I actually enjoy public speaking. That's great, Elle, when people are expecting me to speak. But my issue is not being able to be heard or get attention if I'm trying to make a comment in a group. Yes. Now, that could be the way that you're actually speaking. It probably is a combination of mindset and voice skills. And you need to give me a little bit more information about that. I understand what the situation is, but it sounds like A, maybe you're not loud enough. B, you're not being engaged enough with the group. And C, maybe you're talking too much. Maybe there's too much in the way that you're, for example, hang on, let me get my thoughts together. Maybe your sentences are so convoluted or insecure sounding that people just cut you off. Sometimes that happens. Of course, if you're expected to speak on a stage, you have full attention of the crowd most of the time. sometimes it's harder actually to manage those small interactions, because some people will just talk all over the top of you, especially if you're quiet, especially if you're reserved and shy. So let's go back to the content for a little bit, because otherwise I'll be here for hours. But look, sometimes people actually avoid doing all these things that they need to do instead of speaking up. They'll turn their cameras off in meetings. They'll wish things were different. They'll get stuck in victim mentality, and they'll make excuses for themselves. Now, if that resonates with you, then it's something that you really need to work on. Now, let me give you an example of why people aren't getting a promotion. I read this article in Harvard Business Review in about 2009. It was way back when, but it's still true today. I see lots of articles on this. There was a gentleman that was very annoyed about not getting the promotion because he'd been working with the company for 20 years and it was really should have been his. However, a younger person with better communication skills came in, wowed them all, and got the promotion that he really wanted. He marched into his boss's office and demanded to know why. And the boss vaguely said something about, you didn't have the right communication skills for the position that I wanted to promote you to. And you're not demonstrating enough executive presence or leadership skills either. Now, I hear this a lot, and that's why I've got a nice environment now of lots of leadership and executive coaches, because they're all doing exactly the same type of thing that I'm doing, and we complement each other's gifts. It's very important to hang around the right people. So we've got to know what to say, how to say it, and how to speak with confidence. But a lot of people focus on their content first. They want to get their slides right. They want to write a script. They want to do everything perfectly. But it's the wrong approach. Guys, I want you to understand that you have to work on your foundation first. You have to master and ground the breath. Otherwise, your voice will be shaky and out of control. You've got to fix your fear of public speaking, which starts here between the ears, and we're going to do that today. You've got to change your mindset, because mindset is audible. The way that your mindset is right now is going to come out of your mouth somehow. If you ramble or mumble, people are going to assume that you're underconfident because of the way that you're speaking. You've got to develop those voice skills, and you've got to stay calm and self-regulate. That internal regulation is so important, and that's where we need to start. Now, if any of you don't know me here today, many people do know my channel, The Voice of Confidence TV, but very quickly, my name is Elisa James, and I help people increase their impact and income through confident public speaking skills on any platform. I'm an executive voice and presentation coach. I am an on-camera and presentation coach as well, the founder of The Voice of Confidence TV, where you'll see this live streaming. I'm an Amazon #1 best-selling author multiple times now, and I'm a lecturer in voice at 𝐈𝐭'𝐬 University. I've got a master's degree in voice and a master's in holistic health. So I really look at things from a very, very holistic perspective. Now, my background, just quickly, was in entertainment industry. I was on stages and on cameras for more than 40 years now. Yes, I'm pretty old. And these are some of the people I hung out with. I was doing TV shows all over the world. I've just done 2 movies. They're being released in America at the moment, so I still do entertainment part-time, not full-time. I've been on musical theaters, plays, big bands, small bands, solo, everything that you can possibly think of. So I've learned a lot along the way. Now, when I retired and came back to Australia a few years ago, now I do live events all over the place. I still do them overseas. I also do virtual events, of course, and that's what I do now. However, today, this is about you. I want you to know this as well. Many people think that because I was an entertainer for all that time, I'm very much an outgoing person. Nothing can be further from the truth. I'm actually very, very quiet as a person. I'm an introvert. Now, when I was little, when I was younger, much younger, I thought that I was so shy that I could never do any of that. I just labeled myself as shy and an introvert. And so I thought I could never sing on a stage because I'm too shy. My anxiety was absolutely crippling for many, many years, right past my teenage years, well past. And it really was a big issue for me right into my 20s and 30s. So that's why I'm so passionate about teaching today, is because I want to make sure that you don't label yourself and you don't allow yourself to be held back just because you might be shy or introverted. I'm going to show you how to get out of that in a second. I was so shy that I failed at getting in the school choir, which was my biggest dream. I also failed about getting into university because I bombed the audition. My voice was shaking so much I couldn't get through the songs. It was just humiliating. But I want you to know that things can change. I now have 3 degrees and I teach vocal performance because things can change. I've spoken and sung all over the world. I don't feel like that same person anymore. I've grown out of it. I wouldn't even label myself as shy anymore. I'm sort of cured of shyness. I'm still an introvert, but that's okay because I know how to manage my energy. That's all it is. Now, I knew I had potential and I just needed some sort of strategy. And that's why I went into coaching and training as a child, because I needed to get more confident in myself along the way. So think about how changing from a quiet, shy person to a more confident person would transform your life into that beautiful blue butterfly. You don't have to stay in that cocoon hiding for the rest of your life. You don't have to do that. I was there for a very long time, and it's very painful to stay there, just wishing things were different and they're not. And that's why I have that blue butterfly tattooed on my left shoulder, and it's on all of my branding and everything, because it's all about transformation. That's what it is. And that's why I do these 5 steps in this particular order, because it's the only way that it's going to change your life, is to really do that transformation. Now, we've got to remember that transformation takes time. You're not going to get beautiful 6-pack abs like these lovely people here in 1 session, or even maybe 8. It's going to take a little time. So if you think you can go to the gym and get abs like that in 1 session, great, go for it. But it might take you a little time to do that. The same thing with changing your life, changing your voice, improving your skills. It takes a little time. So be patient with yourself. Now, let's dive in to the basic building blocks for a great speaking voice. Now, these are absolutely true. These are big picture views right now. We're not going to dumb it down into the little building blocks of voice just yet, but we will touch on that in a minute. But this is what, if you want to be a leader, you have to start to master these skills. Internal confidence and calm. You have to be able to internally regulate, because if you don't, guess what's going to come out of your mouth? And the brain will freeze. We've got to be able to calmly have that confidence from within. We have to really build our communication skills, and we have to have good listening skills. And what I mean by that is not listening necessarily only to other people, but learning how to listen to other people in a different way, and learning how to listen to your own voice in a different way. I tell all of my students when they start a program with me, your ears are going to change very quickly. Over the next four lessons or so, your ears will be so different that when you listen to people from now on, you're going to be really driven crazy by the terrible communication skills out there. Most people have no idea. They talk all over the top of each other. They attack and they defend and raise their voices and go squeaky and out of control. It's all emotional because we're not grounded. We're not confident. You're never going to see a king or a leader really go crazy and lose their shit. They're put into that higher position for a reason. There's a reason that CEOs have the lowest cortisol levels of any person on earth. CEOs of major corporations have low cortisol. Now, cortisol is the stress hormone, and the stress hormone is elevated when we feel stressed or feel anxious. And where does that come from? A thought. Okay, now we're going to go into that more deeply in a second, because this really has to change. The very first thing we have to understand is leaders are successful because of the following things. They take responsibility for where they are. They educate themselves. They invest in their own training and their development. They're strategic thinkers. They make fast decisions. They don't sit on something for weeks at a time. and they speak with confidence and conviction. Now, when we're in a leadership position, a 10% increase in salary is absolutely normal. Think about what that would do for your family. It could be an extra 10 grand in your pocket. It could be an extra 20 or 50. Imagine how that would change your family's life. And this is all available to you by just doing a little bit of the work. Now, it starts right here with you. Sorry to point, but it really does. It starts right here because we are our own brand. We are the best version of our brand. It all comes out with our face, our voice, our body language, and of course, our skills. So let's see if we can build a voice of confidence from an intellectual standpoint. I'm going to give you a little exercise in a second. So I want you to make sure that you've got pen and paper. This is very important because you will need to write stuff down. You can actually do it on a device, of course. But here's what we're going to look at. What does confidence sound like? A clear, stable speaking voice. Because confident people, they are heard. They are heard and understood. So clarity and volume is very important. They have a cool, calm speaking voice. This is what confidence sounds like. Confidence doesn't sound like someone who's out of control emotionally. It just doesn't. Clear articulation, and that's here, teeth, tongue, lips, and jaw. Good projection, so you are heard easily right across the room. Some people think they're loud enough, but they're not. And then they keep getting asked to speak up. I hear that all the time. People say on my YouTube channel, in my head, I feel like I'm really loud, but then people keep asking me to speak up. Well, obviously, you're not speaking up enough for them. We're not speaking for us. We're speaking for them because all speaking is public speaking. You don't need to speak out loud to talk to yourself. You need to speak out loud to talk to somebody else. So it's in public. Do you get it? And the last part is articulate ideas efficiently and clearly. So there's two types of articulation. Here, with the actual articulators of the voice, the instrument, and articulation of ideas. If you can't get your idea across, people are going to be confused, or they might say no. And this is the problem with sales. A confused mind will always say no. We have to make it very clear for them what the opportunity or the benefit is that we're actually sharing with the people. Now, go back over to the comments in a minute because we're going to use the comments really strongly right now. Now, we're going to build what I call your vocal brand, building a voice of confidence. You're going to pick 1 to 3 speakers that you admire. So I've given you a few examples there. Say you love Oprah. That's an example. You're going to write Oprah and 2 other speakers that you really like. I want you can share them in the chat right now because that's really helpful for other people as well. If you're brave enough to share, here's the thing that happens. Other people will start to share as well. You can be an inspiration to other people to actually get out of their comfort zone and do the work that's necessary. So pop it in the chat, the 3 speakers that you admire, and then you're going to write down 3 to 5 attributes of each speaker. Now, I'll tell you what that means. It's not they look beautiful or they have a nice voice. No, we want to really feel the attributes more deeply from that person's personality, say, what they've developed as their personal reality. So let's take Oprah as an example for a second. If I look at Oprah and I see that I admire her and like the way that she speaks, I might say something like, she connects with the audience. That's true. She's very confident and grounded. Very true. She can be vulnerable and open, right? She can also be very authentic. She is very authentic with her clientele and with her audience. They're the attributes that she steps into to become Oprah. Now, I have to step into certain attributes to become Elisa James. If I don't, well, I become that shadow of a child that I was years ago who's still hiding behind my mother's skirts. I don't want to be that person anymore. That person doesn't exist. But occasionally it might come out if I'm triggered and I'm not watching myself. We have to really be aware of these things. So write down in the comments 3 speakers that you like. You can write it on your piece of paper as well and do this at home, because this is a great exercise for you to spend a bit of time on. We're going to go through too fast today, but you might want to go through this a little bit more at home. And then I want you to notice something. So for example, let's say if I had Oprah, Mel Robbins, and Gary Vee, and then I wrote down 3 to 5 attributes of each person. Then I'm going to look at all those attributes and I'm going to think to myself, what are the themes here? I'm seeing confidence pop up a lot. I'm seeing authenticity pop up a lot. I'm seeing connection or inspiration pop up a lot. You're going to see themes appear that's very important to you. This is where your heart is telling you to go. This is where you really want actual change in your life. You don't want to feel like that little girl hiding behind the mother's skirts anymore. You want to feel like an adult standing on your own 2 feet, being able to be the driver of your own ship, you know, the captain of your own ship. Let's go jump over the comments and see if anyone's got anything to share. Opportunity calls. Right, Simon, people talk over the top of me all the time. Do this exercise, Simon. This will really make a big difference for you. This happens because of the way that you're speaking. If you seem a little quiet, or you have a way of just speaking, it's called rambling. If we ramble and go because we're trying to get everything out in time before they shut you down, the problem is you don't leave enough gap for people to actually have a dialogue. Here's what's happening in life these days. There are so many people desperate to be seen and heard that they will literally talk over the top of each other. It's like piles and piles and piles of poo, just all making this big pile of manure. It doesn't mean anything. We're not really listening. We're not really having a conversation, a dialogue. People are just having monologues at each other. And this does not work. So we have to work out, as intelligent and high vibrational human beings, how can we connect with each other more deeply? How can we make a bridge between one human being to the other, instead of making a wall, shutting people out? Because the second that somebody, excuse me, talks over you, or you allow people to talk over you because of the way you're speaking, then you're building more walls. And the problem is, Simon, if people are talking over you all the time, you've got to start to pay attention to, why is this happening? This is not going to make you feel good. And in fact, I've heard from my students that when this happens all the time, you know, students that are just about to sign up, not after they've signed up, but when they have this happen all the time, it's because of the way that they're speaking, that the other person can't listen. There's a special guide that I've got that I give to a lot of my students. It's called Why People Don't Listen, and how to change that in 5 easy steps. There's loads of things that I can help you learn from that perspective, but this will absolutely help. Yes, volume is a big challenge. Absolutely. In a noisy environment, I can't make myself heard and I start coughing. Yes. An L, it sounds like you haven't got any voice training, because coughing is a sign of voice tension. So when you have voice tension, we tend to squeeze, push and force from the throat muscles out, but this is not how voice is working. This is not the way the voice works. If you understood a little bit more about how to use your instrument from your tummy to your teeth, then you'll be able to project your voice with no problem, with no coughing. The coughing is usually because the tongue pulls right back in the throat and chokes you, and your throat muscles squeeze against your poor trachea, and your voice box can't move properly. Your vocal folds can't use the airflow effectively anymore, because you're effectively strangling the airflow. Hope that makes sense. You love Jordan Peterson. He's calm and cool, right, Hugh? That's why most people like him. So write down, Hugh, why you like Jordan Peterson. I actually should do a video on that. I would love some some suggestions, by the way, if anyone knows what video they want me to do as a voice coach reacts to video, because that's what I'm getting into at the moment. Great. So let's look. Elle's played the game. Good on you, Elle, for playing the game. I love that. She's got Oprah, warmth and welcoming. Fantastic. That's a great start. But remember the, excuse me, the goal was this. Pick 3 speakers, excuse me, write down 3 to 5 attributes. And what themes do you notice? So when we're doing that, I want you to get to the end of the exercise by yourself, because we're going to move on right now. But when you get to the end of the exercise, this is what you're going to say to yourself. And I want you to write this down. This is who I've come here to be. And you're going to pick those 3 to 4 words that you've really defined as your words. So oh, there I went. Okay, I disappeared. So this is what I meant. When I did my exercise years ago, I picked 3 or 5 speakers and I picked 3 to 5 attributes per speaker. Then I looked at all the themes, and then I said, how interesting. There's 3 words that really stand out for me amongst all these themes. One was confidence, one was inspirational, and the other one was playful. And I realized when I'm turning up as my shadow self, I'm not being those 3 words. I'm being something else, and something else I didn't like. So I had to finish this type of exercise like this. This is the powerful words that you can say to yourself. This is who I've come here to be. Confident, inspirational, and playful. You've got to say them with meaning. Otherwise, you will never, ever change. This is who I've come here to be. And say your 3 words out loud. Now, you're very welcome to share that in the chat with me right now, or just write it down and make sure that you put this on your computer on a little sticky note. Put your 3 power words on your computer. The more that you say that, the more you feel it, the more you step into it, we're actually shifting the way that we behave. It's much easier actually to act yourself into a new way of thinking than think yourself into a new way of acting. This is why voice coaching, public speaker coaching, confidence coaching is so powerful, because when we actually do the work, we get into it, we implement, you start to feel more confident on the inside. Neurological pathways start to change. So let's move on, because we've got lots more to cover. We're going to move on to, let me just show you a quick case study, because I want to show you how powerful this can be. This is one of my beautiful students, Dre. If I've got a picture of him, I've got a video of him, but I can't show that video. This is one of my students, Dre. When he first started with me, he actually was hiding. He was wishing things were different. He was very much hiding. In fact, he stalked me for, let me just put my thing here. So, whoops. How do I do this? Like that. He actually stalked me for about 2 years before he started working with me. A lot of people do. But he was very nervous about public speaking. He bombed at his very first very big speaking engagement and was humiliated because of that. And he wanted to leave his job and start a business. But the problem is he didn't have the confidence to do that. Well, then he worked with me for up to about 12 months, I think. Whoops. And that's supposed to say after, not hiding. I did a typo there, so sorry about that. So this is supposed to be before and after. Confident speaker and presenter, that's what he is today. He built a successful podcast. He's a regular live streamer and guest speaker, and now runs his own coaching business. I mean, incredible difference. And so this is just a little taste of things that he does. He and I actually work together now, because he and I have very much a synergistic alignment with our businesses. Oh, good. Let me have a look. I want to stop sharing the screen for a second, because I want to show you these. This is so awesome. Bill, I love this. This is who I've come here to be. Yes, it's so powerful. Bill, do your 3 words. Share your 3 words. I love your photo, by the way. Looks awesome. It's very, very powerful exercise. And Elle's done it. Vibrant, dynamic, and self-assured. Elle, I love it. You are on fire today. These are your words. Feel it. That just gave me goosebumps. So I know that you're on the right track. I always get goosebumps when my students are on the right track. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Alrighty, let's go back to, which view is it? I think it's this view. Okay, great. Now we're going to move on. Now, this is also Olivia. I wanted to show you Olivia just quickly because a lot of people, they think, oh, I'm an ESL speaker. I don't speak English as a first language, so therefore I'm never going to be a great public speaker. Balderdash. She came to me as an ESL speaker, very underconfident. You do not have to speak perfect English to be a great communicator. You really don't. Nobody speaks perfect English, not many people at all. She had an unclear, very shaky voice because she was nervous and anxious. She had stage fright and her brain would freeze and her audience would switch off. She said to me in her first consult with me, I don't have a voice. I feel like I don't have a voice. Nobody listens to me. And then she, after working with me, she worked with me for about 6 to 12 months in various programs. She became a TEDx speaker, a best-selling author, an award-winning coach and speaker, a guest presenter and keynote speaker. And she said to me, I'm more calm and happy now and growing and transforming every day. And this is our beautiful Olivia. She's also disabled. She has to walk with sticks because she had a terrible, terrible car accident. Yes, fantastic. Thank you, Simon, for chiming in. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the people that you like. That's fine. And he has a vision and direction. Absolutely. And thanks, Elle. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. Really, really proud of you. And I love this, Simon. He has vision and direction. And if that's important to you, that means this is what's really hitting home for you. So vision and direction. But how can you say that to yourself? This is who I've come here to be. A visionary, focused, determined, passionate, driven. Think about what that would mean for you, the attributes that you could actually step into. Alrighty, so we're basing all this just in case you're, excuse me, you're coming in late to this training. This is the Voice of Confidence training, which is the 5 steps to building a great speaking voice so you can become a more confident public speaker. And I use this 5-step system with all of my students because if you don't do this, you're not going to get to your goal. Now, what we always start working on is the 3 foundational steps: psychology, mindset, voice skills, which include breath skills, of course, and body language. They're the first 3 steps that we all have to take. Now let's move into step number 2, very important. VIP secrets to building confidence and eliminating fear. This is all about self-regulation. Now, there's a very, very big reason why I do my 40-year career now, because I'm pushing 60 this year, next year. I've had about 40 years of career on stage and on camera all across the world and over probably 30 years of teaching now. And I've noticed the one thing in common with all of my students: 90% or more, probably 95% of my students all have mindset and belief system issues that are giving them a voice issue. So we always have to look at that step 1 in the system before we move on, because I can teach you voice skills, but you won't do it if your mindset is holding you back. Make sense? So have a look at this. All these stars: Elon Musk, Emma Thompson, Johnny Depp, and Keira Knightley. Fantastic. They all have one thing in common. What do you think it might be? Bill, I love this. I'm just going to share Bill's for a second, and then we'll have to keep going. Les Brown: energy, fire, confidence, humorous, former President Obama, smooth, characteristic, connectivity. I love it. So your 3 words, Bill, this is who I've come here to be: confident, energetic, and humorous. Maybe they're your 3 words. Love it. See if it feels right for you. So these 4, let me get back to the slides for a second. These 4 people are all shy, self-confessed, shy, and socially anxious. All of them. So they would have had to deal with the nervous system disruptions for a very long time before they could actually step into that power that made them stars. The power that made them become visionaries in their own businesses or lives. that gave them the confidence to be able to step onto that stage, speak to thousands of people, or step in front of that camera and act in front of potentially millions or billions of people. You see, shyness and introvertedness doesn't have to hold you back. You just have to change things as you go. We're making new neural pathways every single time we learn something. So let's have a quick look at what we actually do to ourselves when we're experiencing fear, anxiety, or nervousness. These are the things that come up. This is what happens if we don't change this. It will keep happening for you over and over and over again. Now, I want you to give me the numbers in the chat if you actually relate to some of this. Self-sabotage patterns, the imposter syndrome. Who am I to do this? Why would I be speaking here? Nobody's going to listen to me. I don't have the right experience. That's the imposter syndrome. You don't feel like you're in the right place, right? Shaky voice when speaking, brain freeze, forget what you're going to say, throat constriction. That's what Elle was talking about before. Shaky or tight stomach. We hold a lot of tension in our stomach area because this is the center of self-esteem down here. Energetically, that's the center of self-esteem. Breathing difficulty. You get puffy or breathless, out of breath a lot of the time when we're nervous. Sweating with nerves. Speaking too fast, rambling, mumbling. All of those will show up if you're very nervous. If you're feeling anxious and nervous, they will all show up for you. And where do nerves start? Right here in the brain. What's happening here is that you've got a thought or a memory that's kicked in so quickly that quicker than the speed of thought can actually happen and come into your consciousness, your body will go, oh, this is, it's that situation again. Because your amygdala, the warning system in the brain, is going to warn you of impending danger. Now, the problem for you, if say you were giving a speech when you were 7 or 9 or 10 or 15 at school and you messed up and bombed completely and you felt humiliated because you messed up so badly on stage, and then all your classmates started sniggering and laughing and pointing at you, your amygdala is firing so much that it's saying to you, I will never put you in a situation like this ever again. I will create so much fear and tension in your body that you will either avoid it like the plague or you'll run in the other direction. It's there for, the amygdala is there to protect us. And we've got to understand that. It's a protective mechanism. It's there to save our lives, to stop us putting our fingers on a hot plate, to stop us getting attacked or eaten by a bear or a wild animal, to stop us getting run over by a car. The amygdala is a warning system for that. But the problem is it fires too much in modern day society because of the perceived dangers and the triggers that we've had from the past. So we have to make sure that we know how to really combat that and have that composition or that composure from the inside. So let's look at how we can actually fix it. Of course, we've got to first work on our mindset and our confidence. We've got to avoid labeling ourselves as shy and make excuses for why we can't actually do the thing that we want to do. We've got to manage our energy levels so you don't come off like a robotic, boring person, because if you're boring, your presentation is going to be boring. If you think your presentation is boring, it probably is if you're being boring. It's up to you to make any presentation entertaining and interesting. It's not up to the audience or your slides. It's up to you as a person. So manage your energy so you can bring the energy that your audience needs that day. Don't make excuses, because you have to make a choice. Do you want to make excuses or do you want to get results? You can't do both. Make excuses, get results. They're your two choices. Do I want to make excuses and then get to the end of my life and have regrets? Or do I want to get results and just put my fear out the way? That's what I do with all of my students. We have to really melt and get rid of that fear. Committed to improving skills. That's what I was. So a foundation has to come first. Mindset, of course. Body language, growing it in a safe, supportive environment, like in all of my classes. Voice, learn the skills. And all of that makes you a confident speaker. Because what we're doing is this, essentially. Let me tell you a little story. See this field in front of you. Once upon a time, that field was just all grass. There was nothing else on that field except beautiful grass. Now, one day you decided to leave your house and walk right across the pathway that you can see, because just behind those trees is a shop that you really want to go to, but you live all the way down there. Now, the road goes all the way around. You could have walked on the road, but it takes you longer. So what do? You forge a path through the grass. Now, on the very first day, you would have walked straight across that grass, wouldn't have left a dent. This is habits for you. The second day, you walk straight across the path and the grass is starting to tread down a little bit. The more that you tread that particular pathway, the more that you're going to forge that path through the grass in the forest so it stays there. And the grass has learned, well, this is where we don't grow anymore. It's forging a new pathway. We're actually doing the very same thing in our brains all the time. When we learn to speak with confidence, we're standing on that stage, we're speaking on that camera. When we move out of fear and into confidence and we practice these skills, we're forging a new pathway, a new neurological pathway in the brain. That's what we're doing with public speaker training. It's a lot deeper than you think. So when you're forging that new pathway, instead of your brain going straight over to fear, it's going to learn that bit by bit, this is the new pathway that we're going to most of the time now. This one is not going to be used much. The more that you use this pathway over here, fear, anger, defensiveness, not listening, rambling, mumbling, all of that stuff, it's all triggered my mindset. The more that you allow your brain to go there, the less that you're going to be able to go over and forge a new path. You've got to stop yourself from making that neurological pathway stronger. It's not your past that you have to blame anymore. You have to take full responsibility for where you are in your life. And you have to say to yourself, this is just a pathway. It's not my anxiety and this is my excuse. No, I've had anxiety, I've had depression, I've had panic attacks, I've had PTSD, agoraphobia, you name it, I've had it. Aphasia, complete psychosomatic loss of voice, I've had all of that. I know that this was the pathway that I forged. It was the pathway that I knew and I was accustomed to. That's all it was. I had to spend the next few years changing the pathway, making it go over to a brand new pathway. It was a lot of work, but I got there. And it completely changed my life. I can't tell you how important this is. So you've got to forge a new pathway. So let's do a very quick exercise to help you forge this new pathway. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, whether you were psychologically, physically abused. I know all of that, how terrible that can be for a lot of people, or it can be just bullying at school. That was bad too. I've been bullied and bashed and beaten and you name it, I've been there. I've written books on this and trauma and anxiety and all this sort of stuff. I'm not belittling that at all. I'm not minimizing it, but I'm just saying that we can't be beholden to that wound anymore. We have to take responsibility for where we are. So all I want you to do is just take responsibility right now and say, okay, I'm going to start self-regulating. Regardless of what happened in my past, whatever's coming up now that's going into the wrong pathway, we're going to regulate and make a new pathway. Let's do it together. This is a vagus nerve reset, and there's two ways that we can do this. The very first way I'm going to tell you is called emergency calm. I want you to write this down. Emergency calm. Now, emergency calm is basically 2 sips in and a long breath out. 2 sips in and a long breath out. Okay, ready? Now, to really stimulate the vagus nerve, you've got to make sure that when you're breathing out, shh, you can make a sound if you want. A lot of people make sound with it. A very common sound is woo or voo. You can do a hum if you like, whatever's comfortable for you. So you do 2 little sips in, 4, whoops. It works on stream that too. Oh my God, that was so funny. I was like, what? Did I do this? It's like, oh my God, 2 balloons. How cute is that? Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, back to vagus nerve. See, we're allowed to have fun and be playful. That's one of my highest values. 2 sips in and 4 out. 2 sips in, 4 out. 2 sips in, 4 out. One more, 2 sips in, 4 out. Now, after you've done this for 1 minute, this is no joke, you will feel the propensity to yawn. And that is because your vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve that innervates all the way down to your body, all the way down to your stomach, is the largest nerve that actually informs all the other nerves in the nervous system. So when you tone the vagus nerve, it calms down your entire body. And that self-regulation is super important if you want to become a confident speaker on any platform for any person, regardless of whether you're a C-suite executive or just want to have a better communication in a friend group. We've got to be able to stay self-regulated. So that's called emergency calm. Now, another one, if you're loving this, please give us a love heart and a thumbs up or something in the chat, because I'd love to know how this is coming across for you guys. The next vagus nerve reset is really, really simple. It's just as powerful and maybe even more so. We bring our eyes all the way over to one side without moving your face. So if you bring your eyes all the way over to one side and keep breathing in and out and hum on the out breath. And you do that for 30 seconds without moving your eyes will get tired. But when you do that for 30 seconds without moving your eyes, I guarantee you, again, you'll feel the propensity to yawn. Excuse me. And that yawn is showing you that your body is calm and relaxed now. There's no trigger going on. The amygdala has stopped firing. You've just relaxed in your whole body. And that's a beautiful thing, because now you can just download everything you want magically, and the sound will come out of your mouth. It increases your verbal fluency. Verbal fluency is the rate with which our brain can actually speak through our mouth. Our brain connects to our mouth and the words just flow out. So with the second exercise, the vagus nerve reset, you hold your eyes over to one side for 30 to 60 seconds, then hold your eyes over to the other side for 30 to 60 seconds. Guaranteed, if you're doing it right, you will yawn or at least swallow and sigh within a minute. 1 minute. It calms down your nervous system and gets all of that the nerves out of your body. Elle, did you like that? Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing the feedback for that, because this is such a huge thing. When I do this with my clients on the spot, straight away, they feel like they need to yawn, and that stops fear dead. Now, you can do that when you're speaking, because a lot of people, instead of doing self-regulation and learning voice skills, learning how to become great speakers, instead of doing that, they work on their content and then they write a script for their content. Now, the problem is, if you write a script and then you fumble your notes, or you lose your notes, or something happens to your notes, you're going to be even more nervous than you were before, because you're not working on the foundation. You're not self-regulating, working on your skills. You're just relying on it's like having a cane or a crutch. You're relying on a crutch, essentially. You should be able to speak with slides or without. You should be able to speak with notes or without. You should be able to speak for hours at a time or minutes at a time. It doesn't matter. It's all in here, and it's based on a structure and a foundation. It's super simple, but do not rely on a script, because it'll throw you off. Remember, it's not what you say here, it's how you say it. And these are some of the feedbacks that I've gotten from my students working on the psychology, the confidence, the voice skills, all of that sort of stuff. It can be for anyone. This particular lady, Joy, for example, she was so nervous and anxious when she came to me that she made a huge shift. She actually got a job speaking as a tour guide. So she said her confidence and self-esteem are growing every day. It's the best investment that I've made in my personal and business development. So this is what it can do for you too. When you join a program and you do the training, you do the work, all of this is possible for you. All of it starts, of course, outside of our comfort zone, and this is where we all have to go. I had to do it too. All growth starts at the end of your comfort zone. So let's dive into the last step of the system now, because this 5-step system, as you can see, is it's a very smooth way of moving through those 5 steps, and it will get you to where you want to go. So step number 3 is become a great speaker and a presenter using a proven 5-step system. This is where we have been focusing today. The 5 pillars around the psychology and the mindset that drives the speaking voice. This is where we've dived deep. Of course, we haven't even touched on the other things because it takes a while to get through things. We can't possibly do that in 1 hour. So let's just dive through, because I've got a few things to get through before we actually finish off today, and then we'll be done in about 20 minutes time or so. Now, mindset is audible, and I've said this a few times throughout this training already today. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Am I disempowering myself by the way that I speak? What's coming out of my mouth that's disempowering me? It's going to be certain patterns. It could be some of these. Ramble, mumble, lacking in clarity, speaking too softly, incorrect pitch, lack of vocal confidence, a weak, airy voice, a wobbly or a shaky voice. Maybe I'm losing the train of thought. I can't articulate my ideas. So let's have a look at what other people hear. We're going to do a little exercise around this. I want you to grab out your device now. So I want you to grab out your device and then put on a recorder. So I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to place the recorder on for about 60 seconds, no more. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to record your voice for 60 seconds. And I want you to just tell a story. So let's play a game. Let's say I'm going to pick something up from my desk. I've got this beautiful quartz crystal on my desk, quartz rock. I love this one, this rose quartz. You can pick something up from your desk and you can speak to your phone for 60 seconds about the object, any object. Now, don't cheat. Don't prepare anything. You can actually speak about your breakfast or what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter. But pick up your phone, press record, and I'm going to wait for you for 1 minute. You're going to record your own voice speaking off the cuff for 1 minute, and then we're going to listen back to it. Go. Okay, now if you're doing this exercise on the replay, you can do this in your own time, but we're going to actually now analyze what's going on, because all of these patterns that we're talking about here are all coming from your mindset. So let's have a look at the little things that we need to watch out for. When you're listening back to your own sound, I want you to ask yourself the following questions. Does it sound shaky, weak, soft, insecure, annoying, nasal, whiny, high-pitched, screechy, too loud, abrasive, throaty sounding? What are the sounds that are giving your audience the wrong perception? Because everything is about perception. When we understand that all of this is actually not a voice problem per se, it's an actual mindset and psychology issue that's affecting the voice. It's affecting your ability to self-regulate and become calm and confident. That's why when people train with me, even if it's group or VIP or whatever it is that you come in for training, we have to start with psychology and mindset, because if you can't self-regulate, your voice will stay shaky. I will show you how to make a stable, strong speaking or singing or acting voice, no problem. The actual instrument, the moving of the instrument and the moving parts is actually easy to manage once you understand what your instrument looks like and how to move things. But if you have the mindset that's holding you back, it's still going to create these problems. You see the issue? It's all got to start there. So let's have a look at where these things might have come from. Most of the root causes are this: children must be seen and not heard. This is a situation some people were grown up in. Women in my culture don't have a voice. Therefore, I keep my mouth shut. My father and mother shut me down. I was bullied or harassed. My boss doesn't value or respect me. I don't want to be embarrassed or humiliated. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing. All of these issues are mindset issues that affect the voice. Now, we can't keep blaming the past and pointing our finger. It's like your fault. You did this to me. No, we have to learn how to self-regulate. So the very first thing, do yourself a favor today. Start changing those neurological patterns, because you can absolutely do that. So when you're listening back to your recording, I want you to ask yourself, what perception am I giving to other people? What perception am I giving to my audience because of this? So what do we need to do first? We need to understand what's holding me back. We need to build awareness of what needs to change in my mind, in my voice, in my body. We need to understand that. It's called analysis. If we were looking at a sales perspective, for example, of your sales for the final quarter last year, you're going to analyze what worked and what didn't in your company. You can't learn anything unless you analyze. The voice is the same. It's like I'm being a voice plumber here, a voice engineer. We're pulling things apart and trying to figure out how they work. So we need to build that awareness. Then we need to build confidence. We need to start building confidence in a safe place. That's why I have a closed student community where all of my students can practice in private, not in public. So they can build their skills in private and then bring that to a bigger platform. That's what Dre and Olivia did. They practiced in private in my platform where it's safe and supportive. And then they brought it to that bigger space. So now Dre is streaming live and has a YouTube channel, has a podcast and all these amazing things. And Olivia doing the same thing. And lots of my students do the same thing. And then you need to improve your skills, your speaking skills, of course. Now, we've already done the voice analysis. I actually jumped the gun on that. What we were doing is we're listening in a different light. We're building new ears so we can start listening for those voice skills that are disempowering us. Because I want you to start listening differently to yourself and to other people, because you will learn so much when you start to tune your ears. That's what I mean. Leaders listen differently. We really do. So these are some of the people that I've worked with that really worked on these 5 steps. And Joelle said, I must say the past several months have been extremely valuable. I joined the Voice of Confidence mentoring program and then the VIP one-on-one coaching. And I've learned many techniques, psychology, breathing, pronunciation. I was able to see weekly progress, overcome some fears, and boost my presentation skills. I highly recommend Elisa's programs. And this young lady was very, very special. She's a huge star overseas and spoke like this, really held back in her throat. She had a lot to overcome. And she said, working with Lisa over the past year has helped my confidence and expression so much, with a holistic approach balanced with vast anatomical knowledge and amazing array of practical exercises. She applied fluidly with all the topics that I brought to sessions. We covered everything from working through lifelong voice restrictions that were rooted in emotional trauma to accessing my performer and presenter voice for different businesses and opening into singing. The work has greatly helped me build my confidence and freedom of self-expression in life. Now, just to give you a little context around that, when this lovely lady came to my studio in Sydney years ago, she was so held back. Everything was like here, because she was so traumatized. She'd been terribly abused in her life in the past, and so had a lot of holding and tension patterns. Now, as I started working through voice skills over the first couple of weeks, within, I think it was about week 3 or 4, perhaps, when we were working together, I was doing this projection exercise with her, and this huge, beautiful projected sound came out of her mouth. We were doing vowels, ma, something like that, right? And she did this beautiful big sound, and it scared her half to death because it was so loud and so rich that she literally got a shock and fell to the ground sobbing. She was so overwhelmed with, oh my God, that sound came out of me. It was scary to her at first because she'd been held back for so long, and it was so painful for her, holding all that tension and hiding from the world. Now she can express herself. It's a huge shift where you can go, and that's just one of the many, many, many stories, of course. So let's go back to the final things that I want to cover with you. Warren, for example, is a very different student. He has a very successful business, 15 people working for him, and he just needed a few tweaks, just a few tweaks to get him to that next level. So he was a very hardworking VIP that just did 12 sessions, no more, and he got to where he wanted to go. Now, I'm so, so, so glad. So what you need to do, final call here, you need to fast track your speaking skills, and how we do that is to break the voice habits that are keeping you playing small. We need to break the voice habits that keep you playing small. So make sure you remember your power word exercise. This is who I've come here to be. That's a great place to start. And the second exercise is the analysis. Listen back to yourself and make sure that you can identify what is holding you back. For example, remember these things that we talked about, the shaky voice, weak voice, all of that is going to show up because of your psychology. So we've got to make sure that we know what's holding us back. So who's learned something today? What have you learned today? I know that there's been a lot of people coming in and out, and we have gone for quite a long time already. I've got just a few minutes left, and then we're going to open up for questions in a moment. But just pop it in the chat. What have you learned? What was your aha moment? And tell me what you liked about the training. Because next, I've got something I just want to share with you very quickly before we close down this training, and then we put it into replay mode. The next one, this is just the beginning. I want you to know that. We talked about the 5-step system today, but it's really only the beginning. We've got voice skills to go through, messaging, body language, presentation skills. There's a lot. So if you want to go to the next level, for example, like Christy, she's one of my clients. She came to me for VIP and for group coaching. For example, this is what she achieved. She achieved Small Business Champion last year. I'm so proud of her. And she says, I highly recommend Elisa James. I participated in her group program and also worked with her one-on-one. She is the bomb. It was one of the best investments I've ever made and has helped my career and my confidence immensely. So if you'd like to become a success story, I would like to ask you if it's okay if I could share with you just for a few moments how you could get similar results for a fraction of the VIP investment. If you remember at the beginning, I shared the VIP is usually about $20,000 to $25,000 a year, depending on how long that they train with me and how closely we work together. The more intimately we work together, of course, the more it costs because you have all of my attention. But for a lot of people, they don't need that. So can I share with you for a second just what it would be like to work with me on a different type of program? Yeah. So let's have a look at it. If you want any of these things still, to speak with clarity, confidence, speaking up, peace of mind, conquering your anxiety and your nerves, tension-free voice, a voice that you love, polished and engaging presentations, on-camera confidence, all of that, then this is what I want to share with you today. This is a brand new club membership that I started last year because so many people need this. A lot of people, they weren't ready or they couldn't afford the VIP investment. They needed something a little bit more group class. So I developed a group class that gets together every single month, twice a month, and it's called the Voice Club. Now, you're very welcome to join the Voice Club today. We've got a special event only for today and for those who's watching the replay, and then this will get taken down in the next 2 days. The Voice Club membership program, just let me share with you how this works. It's a members-only annual program. It's not streamed anywhere. It's private content held via Zoom with a small, intimate group class of about 10 to 12 people. That's it. This is what's waiting for you inside. Let me just share the screen a little bit bigger so you can see it properly. Monthly coaching, 2 sessions, access to the worksheets that go with the coaching. We have surprise guests, experts in their field every single month. We have a growing library. I think we've got about 12 hours of masterclasses all loaded up into the library right now. Downloadable voice exercises and exclusive community access. Now, the community access is a Facebook group where you can actually do live videos, you can practice your live streams, you can practice your presentation skills, all of that in a closed space where nobody else sees it, only students. And then the second community access group we have is our WhatsApp chat. And let's say that 3 times fast. WhatsApp chat. And when you go into the WhatsApp chat, you get the reminders of all the live coaching sessions, the where the recordings are stored. You know, you can ask questions, all of that sort of stuff. Now, this is just some of the masterclasses added already in the leadership in the members site. You'll see about 12 there. We've got things around confidence. We've got leadership. We've got mindset. We've even got a hypnosis trainer that came in and helped us just get rid of our fears of public speaking. This will give you a little overview of some of the content that we actually work on in class. Now, this next class that's coming up in, not this weekend, but the next weekend, is our voice coaching and performance class. We're actually going to work on body language and non-verbal skills in public speaking. So this is very important too. Remember, we base all of this around our 5-step system. So let me give you a walkthrough, a very, very quick walkthrough of the modules that I use and how deep dive they are in this 5 steps. Module 1 is all building belief in yourself, eliminating negative thinking patterns, breaking social and cultural habits that are keeping you stuck, learning how to communicate your strengths, and building confidence from the inside. And this is one of the things that Dominique had to do because she was so scared to be on camera that she couldn't grow her business. And I really had to get her help to get her business to grow. Now, module 2 is all about the voice, building a clear, strong voice. Now, I'm a holistic voice coach with a master's in voice. So I'd go deep dive in voice because this is where a lot of people, this is the reason that a lot of people don't speak, is because they hate the sound of their voice and they're not getting the conversions or the attention that they deserve. Easy, powerful projection, stable, confident sound, a voice that's pleasant to listen to, calm and confident tone, control, and then all the advanced stuff like tonality, pacing, pausing, pitch, timbre, resonance, projection support, all of that sort of stuff. And this is what Gary had to work on, mostly public speaking presentation skills and on-camera skills. For business coaching, that's what he was working on specifically. Now, next is the body language. In other words, those non-verbal skills. That's what we're going to do in the next class. We need to eliminate negative non-verbal cues, things that are going to be distracting to your message. We've got to learn facial expressions. Some people speak like they're deer in the headlights, literally. Nothing going on. And it is so boring to watch. I've got some beautiful students that have not quite broken through yet, that their voices sounding quite engaging, but when they speak, it's sort of like nothing. It's like they're dead somehow. It's very weird. So we need to really fully be engaged and present when we're speaking. Correct posture, body movement for speaking on stage, on camera, eliminating those message distractions, and the alignment of confidence. So you can breathe and feel more confident. And that's what I had to work on with one of my VIPs, Jimmy, who is working very, very closely with Brenda Bashart as well. Now, finally, we get into the more advanced stuff. When you're ready to move up to that polishing preparation step, then we're going to hone your message for the platforms that you need. We're going to make clear and logical sentence construction so that when you're speaking, it's easy for people to understand. Powerful engagement techniques, in other words, how to ask powerful questions to get great answers from the audience. Powerful and polished openings for all your presentations. Sometimes people have terrible openings. Speech preparation, warm-up routine, blueprints and templates, and a 7-step process to help you get ready for a big presentation coming up. And this is what Andrew had to work on because he works in corporate and had to represent his massive company in public and a lot of conferences and things. So he had to learn how to communicate with a little bit more passion, but he also wanted to have fun in the process. And finally, then we put it all together. It's like the icing on the cake, presenting like a pro module, which is fine-tuning and polishing your speech and presentation practice with me live and also in our group, keynote preparation, wedding, stagecraft performance, confidence entrance and exits, and on-video performance and engaging social media performance. We do all of that in class. We cover all of those things in class. Now, what I also want you to know is once a quarter, we actually hold a live workshop here in Sydney that anyone from Australia is able to fly in and enjoy. And it's for all students, and it's just for the price of snacks and drinks and things like that. It's only $97, but it's all included in the program. So if you're a current student of mine, then you basically get that full day training for next to nothing. So you can work with me in person. Now, for the people who aren't here in Sydney and can't fly in, you're from elsewhere, then we also do a virtual implementation day, just call that implementation day. So you can come into Zoom with me and we can work specifically on getting your presentations ready for the stage or the camera. So I love doing that. It's so much fun. Now let's go back to the final step. So this is basically everything that's involved here. We've got 24 coaching sessions that happens in 12 months, 2 a month. You've got weekly tips to keep you on track. They're delivered by email and also by WhatsApp chat. You've got our 2 support communities, including, of course, the WhatsApp chat. You can see that it's massive, massive value. It's about $8,000 value all up. And you'll see it on my website anytime for $19.97. But today only, because you're here and you're actually paying attention, you're here for your own success, it's going to be reduced to just $9.97 today. So you'll be able to click on that link that we just shared in the chat, and you can check out today and join immediately. Now, I'm going to throw in a couple of bonuses here for you, only for the people that join today and pay in full. If you can do that for your own success, please make the commitment, because this is the first step to the rest of your life. Now, let me go through a few bonuses for people who join us today only. These are the inclusions for the Voice Club, especially if you are coming into the annual. We're all eliminating these undesirable qualities in this course, which is included in your membership. It's called Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. It's a transformation course to make sure that you can actually transform all of those negative voice qualities into positive voice qualities. Now, I've put this together. It's about 5 hours of content, and it's yours for free as soon as you join the Voice Club today. Now, that's a video which I haven't loaded, so I can't show you that, but that's got every single module in the Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. Now, when you join today annually too, you'll also immediately unlock, of course, that course, that voice transformation course, but the public speaker training program, which is also very, very in-depth, that will be unlocked for you immediately. So while you're waiting for the live class in a week's time, you can actually dive into training today, this weekend. This is what's covered in the public speaker training program. Improve your English speaking skills is module 1. Correct breath control for speakers, voice skills, vocal confidence, patterns of leadership, gravitas and authority when speaking, performance preparation routine, voice training exercises, all the voice stuff that you can see there, articulation, pitch, pacing, pausing, all of that, confidence, public speaking techniques, and presentation skills. All of that is inside the public speaker online training. So you'll get the voice transformation, the voice skills training, and public speaker training, all home study courses. Do at your own pace. You get them for free forever until I'm dead, basically. So you get those as a bonus. They're already $197 and $297 each. You get them an absolute bonus, and there's a lot of comprehensive stuff in there, as you can see. Now, for the first 3 people to register today, only today, live here, while you sing it live within the next 48 hours, this is going to be taken down. If you see this, you can grab a 90-minute private session with me. Private. So not only do you get everything in the Voice Club plus the extra content, but you'll also get my time like a VIP one-on-one with me. Now, if you're in Australia or if you're in Sydney, you can come and do that in my beautiful studio here. We can set it up any way that you need to practice. I have lots of people that come to the studio and do on-camera presentations or getting ready for a keynote speech or a meeting. But if you can't do that, you're overseas, that's perfectly fine. We'll do it by Zoom. And we can share screens. We can get you prepared for that next meeting, whatever it is coming up that's important to you to really nail, then this is the bonus for you. But that's only available to the first 3 people that registered today, paying in full for the Voice Club. That's the annual membership. You can see this is the entire shebang. 2 coaching calls a month, weekly voice tips, our beautiful support communities in Facebook and WhatsApp. We've got the digital transformational program, which is yours to keep for free. Then we've got the public speaker training program, which is yours to keep for free forever. And then 90 minutes of private coaching with me. Now, the private coaching session alone is worth the value of the entire program, because that's what people really want, is they want that working one-on-one with me. Now, we also have a gift to give away. If you remember at the beginning, let me just share that now. We've got, if you want to get the gift pack, because we're actually on YouTube, excuse me, and we can't share, we can't see. That's a lot of bonuses, yeah. Because, is that going through? Yes. Because I can't actually get emails and send you the gift. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to fill in that form that you'll see. We'll put this in the chat below. If you want the free gift that we discussed at the beginning, which is the ebook, the audio, and the worksheet, the 7 tips for public speaking, it's a very powerful little present that I got for you. If you missed that, then you have to replay to find out what that is. But you can fill in this form and you can just give us your name and email, and we'll send you that gift pack for free. Now, if you're interested in training that's other than the Voice Club, there's some other options in that form. You can check the box and let us know what you're interested in. And that way I can sort of match up information and training programs for you and send you the right type of information. Okay, we're almost finished. And you guys were amazing hanging around here and becoming better speakers today, because you've learned a lot. I've thrown a lot of content at you. Let me just pop that. There's the form underneath. But for less than a coffee a day, you can actually work on your communication skills. And when you work on your communication skills, it really changes things for everybody. I see this constantly. People go from hiding and having terrible relationships to changing their lives completely. It's a massive shift. So if you know that you really need this and you really want to step up, then don't let fear stand in your way. You've got to make sure that you know that you have to get out of your comfort zone to actually make it happen, just like I did. And sometimes people say, oh, I can't afford it, and they just, shut the door on that. But then in 5 years' time, they want to come back and do something. It's 10 times more expensive. So think about, instead of saying I can't do it, just say, how could I make this happen? There's always a way. There's always a way if you're committed. When I was working with my very first coach, her price, I think, was about $18,000 US at the time to work with her for a year. So that's like $997 is a drop in the bucket compared to that. And I didn't get any time with her one-on-one at all. It was just all group coaching. So it was like, it was great. It was amazing. And it really gave me the transformation that I needed at the time. But that was a lot of money and I didn't have the money. So I thought to myself, you know, I can make all the excuses and then figure it out next year or the year after, but the program might not be there anymore, or it might be different and a different price. Of course, it was a different price. So I pulled out all stops and I made it happen. I what's a big Boris deal? You know, I pulled money from all sorts of different sources and on credit cards everywhere, and I made it work. And that one decision, even though it was freaking scary for me, it really changed my life. Honestly, it really, really changed my life. And just so you know, I re-engaged a wonderful coach for double that now, because I know that if I want to move to the next level now, then again, I'm going to need different sort of help. So just have a think about, you know, there is always a way if you're committed. So if you really want to increase your impact, your earning potential, increase your opportunities in life, leave a legacy, then self-education is the way to do it. And we do that through the Voice Club. And this is from Jim Rohn. I love this. Formal education will make you a living. Sure, get you a job. But self-education can make you a fortune. And that's so true in business. Now, this is just quickly a few lovely little comments from some of my students. Tonight's class was so much fun. Learning made fun is always retained. So true. And this is from one of my students who was watching the replay. He said, I also got to watch week 1 recording. Whoops, I'm going to take this comment off. There you go. And though I'm not present in the actual class, I feel like I'm still learning a lot. And this is, again, thank you for today. It was magnificent. My aha moment was that I finally understood how important it is to use my whole mouth when I speak, not just my lips. And the technique you taught us is fantastic. So you've got 3 choices here. You can stay where you are, do what you've always done and get what you've always gotten, which is doing nothing and hiding. Or you can do it alone, watching more YouTube, watching more Google, intellectually understanding it, but not actually implementing it or hiring a coach. You might waste a lot of time. And in fact, a lot of my students do, and they come back to me 2 years later, have to pay a higher price, and they've wasted 2 years of their life. A lot of people do that. Believe me, too many. Or you can make it easy for yourself and do it with you. We'll do it with us. So the Voice Club membership, remember, is only $9.97 today. The special is going on for the next 2 days only. It's going to be up on this as a replay for 48 hours, and then the replay is going to be taken down. Now that price is annual, so you'll pay once and you get everything unlocked, including that 90-minute session with me if you're one of the first 3 that registered today. So this is the best way forward. And this is just sharing a few more little tidbits from some of my beautiful students. Mel has said, the Voice of Confidence program is truly one of the most effective ways to improve your presentation and public speaking skills. Starting from the foundation is mindset, breathing techniques, articulation, voice, and presentation skills on camera confidence. Mel did great. Now, if you don't think that group coaching is for you, of course, you can switch to VIP coaching. Some of my students come into a group coaching program like the Voice Club, and then they use that as a deposit to then move into VIP because they realize that they need that extra time with me. Now, if you'd rather just jump straight into VIP, you can use that link that I shared below just to fill out the form and then tell me that you'd rather do VIP. They'll have a box that you can check. So yes, of course, you'll get your free webinar gift to everyone that fills out that form. But if you fill out the box that says I'm interested in VIP, I will actually give you a call or WhatsApp message or send you an email, and we'll schedule an appointment so we can chat. Okay. So that's for people who really want to go to the next level. So my VIPs are in corporate, they're C-suite executives, they're business owners, coaches, trainers, entrepreneurs, educators, all the people that really have to rely on their voice and their public speaking skills to get that success in life. This is some of my students who speak on massive stages like this. Massive, massive, massive. So if you want to become a VIP, that's absolutely available to you as well. So that's it. Voice Club is for you. So if you've got any questions, just pop it in the chat. I'll get back to all the questions within the next 24 and 48 hours, and make sure that you've got access to all of those links, because you've got the link to check out, which will give you immediate unlocked access to all of the pieces of the Voice Club, the 2 courses. You've got the one-on-one training with me. You've got the support group in Facebook and WhatsApp. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff in there, right? This is massive, massive value. If you were going to another coach, it'd probably be about 3 or 5 times more expensive. But I like to work with people all over the world. I like to make it easy for people to say yes to themselves and invest in themselves like I did. You know, sometimes it's really hard to invest at that really, really high level. We have to build up to it. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you've got some value out of the training today. It's so great to have so many people coming in and sharing their love and their feedback. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you've been in the world, wherever you are, just remember that you have the power to change your life right now. You have the power to do that. But you've just got to ask yourself, I need to analyze what I'm doing wrong. I need to get out of my comfort zone, and I need to make sure that I'm very clear on my goals. If you're just plodding along and letting life get in the way all the time, well, that's not a way to live life. So I hope this has helped you today. I hope this has reached a lot of people's hearts and souls. Thank you so much for joining me live. And I look forward to seeing you next Friday when we'll do our normal everyday Friday session at 8:30 a.m. I look forward to seeing you there. You are so welcome, Katie. It's so welcome. The Voice Club would actually be a really good fit for you because it'd give you that extra support along the way. So I hope you decide to join back into the Voice Club or VIP again. I'm so glad to see everybody here. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And remember, the Voice Club, the next training is on next Saturday at 8 a.m., which is always on the 2nd Saturday and the 4th Saturday of every month. We have the Voice Club live training. And those who book us today and pay in full, you'll get that one-on-one session with me as well. All right. Have a wonderful week. Have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you in the club. See you then. Bye.